What is the eighth principle of Unitarian Universalism, and why do we need it? Find out on today's episode of 3 Minutes in UU History. Unitarian Universalism is a living faith that centers its ethical guidance around 7 principles, with no expectation that these principles are set in stone. In fact, the expectation is that the 7 principles are re-examined every 15 years or so, with an eye on updating them as the needs of society and our spiritual community change. That being said, the principles haven't been changed since the mid-1980s. So that brings us to current times and the debate around something called the eighth principle. A little background. Concurrent with the start of the Black Lives Matter movement in 2013, when Trayvon Martin's killer was acquitted of murder, some Unitarian Universalists on the East Coast started engaging with the concepts of racial equity in our faith. This is a topic that has been around since the Black empowerment tragedy, renamed as such by the Reverend Mark Morrison Reed from controversy, of the late 60s and early 70s. And then the 1992 resolution of immediate witness called us to affirm and support this vision of a racially diverse and multicultural Unitarian Universalism. This led to resolutions passed at General Assembly in 1994 and 1997 that called us to become an anti-racist multicultural faith community. But saying you are something is much different than doing the work to become that thing. So this 2013 work, coming as it did on the heels of the acquittal of Trayvon Martin's killer, focused on a call to action to do the work of dismantling oppressions, and thus the eighth principle was born. We, the member congregations of the Unitarian Universalist Association, covenant to affirm and promote, and this is where the meat of the principle starts, journeying towards spiritual wholeness by working to build a diverse, multicultural, beloved community by our actions that accountably dismantle racism and other oppressions in ourselves and our institutions. But wait, Eric, someone might say to me, isn't all of that essentially included in our 7 principles? Why, yes, I would reply in this hypothetical discussion, but it isn't explicit. And in this time of police killings of Black men and women, and for the last 4 years having the highest leadership within our land espouse racist tropes on a near daily basis, we need to do more. From the website, eighthprincipleuu.org, I quote, "Our existing 7 principles imply this 8th principle, but do not explicitly hold us accountable for addressing these oppressions directly, especially at the systemic level." The 8th principle was presented to the General Assembly Planning Committee by Paula Cole-Jones, one of 2 writers of the 8th principle, the other being Bruce Pollock Johnson, in 2013. In 2017, it was voted into committee at General Assembly, but I can find no further information as to its official status. Now, a number of congregations and UU organizations, more than 20 at this point, have already adopted the 8th principle, and more are holding discussions to vote on adopting it. And I would hope that as this grassroots movement to adopt it at the local level grows, that the UUA will quickly adopt it at General Assembly. And that, my friends, is today's 3 Minutes in UU History, along with a little editorial commentary.